is something that the enemy knows that if we use, it's in trouble. If Satan can't stop you from getting born again, the only other thing he'll try to do is to stop you from serving God effectively. And if Satan can't stop some things from happening in your life, the only other weapon he will use is to delay them. So you are not defeated, but you are being delayed. And when Satan begins to delay some things, like the children of Israel, something that should have taken 40 days took 40 years. I don't know whether you have time for 40 years. If you don't have time for 40 years, then you got to start making up your mind about some issues and decide whether you want some blessings or not, because there's a treasure house and there's a door to the treasure house, and there's a key that you need to use to unlock the door. If you don't use the right key, the door is not going to open. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how you look, how old you are. God is no respecter of persons. An unbeliever can use it and open the door, and you can be a believer, a child of God, sing, dance, jump, hit your head against the ceiling, and God is still watching you. Use the right key so that God's door to his treasure house will swing wide open to you, and the goodies inside will begin to jump out to you. One of the goodies in there is answered prayers. Another one is miracles. Another one is faith. Another one is grace. Another one is the gifts of the Spirit. Another one is brotherly love. There are a lot of goodies inside God's treasure house. When you read from Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 12, but when you read from there, God said, I'll open up my good treasure and I'll pour you out the rain unto your land in a due season. And that rain is a type of the blessing of God. And when that rain comes upon your life, there is no curse that can overpower you. There is nothing that can stop you. But as long as the door is shut and you are behind the door, and you haven't also used the key of typing, so the windows are also shut. So the door is shut, the window is shut, you are blocked out. So I said, bring out the tithes and the offerings, and I'll open the windows of heaven, and I'll pour you out a blessing. You didn't use the right key of tithing, the windows are shut. You didn't use the right key of fasting, the door is closed. So you are blocked out. Keep on singing. Praise has the doors, it opens. Don't make a mistake. When Paul and Silas were in prison, they sang God, they prayed, and they entered a dimension of spontaneous praise, and some things opened up for them. So there's a door that praise also opens. But there are some doors that it takes fasting to open, and it takes tithing to open. So if you're going to come into a place where your prayers are going to be answered, especially prayers that have not been answered for years, I want to encourage you, begin to look at the issue of fasting more seriously, and don't wait for the church to declare a fast before you begin to get into a serious fast to deal with some of the issues that you have to deal with, because it's a fasting kind of prayer that will drive away some things and deal with some issues. Because when you begin to fast, one of the things that happens is that the carnal nature is dealt with. And when the carnal nature is dealt with, one of the things that is consumed and burnt up is doubt and unbelief. So fasting drives out of your life doubt and unbelief. They will run. Fasting will drive them out. And when they run, what comes in is supernatural faith. And that's the kind of faith that you can use to lay hold on God. It is a particular dimension of fasting and prayer that brings particular levels of faith. And faith is what you need to be able to move the hand of God and bring some things into manifestation in your life. But as long as you are in the flesh, you're going to be operating in doubt, and you're going to be operating in unbelief. And the Bible says that Jesus went to a particular place, and it was his hometown. And the Bible says he could perform not many miracles, heal a few sick people because of their unbelief. So you can have the same preacher amidst you who will perform very little. Go into another atmosphere where the people have fasted and prayed, and they obtain the miracles. So a lot of times we put the blame on the preacher. There is no preacher better than Jesus. And if Jesus could not function in a particular environment, how do you expect me to function in an environment of carnality, where the people are so carnal, so egoistic, so selfish, so prideful? You get no miracle. It's not going to be my fault. We can bring in the most anointed person and there still will be no miracle. Because you didn't fast, you didn't prepare yourself, you didn't change your atmosphere and your environment. Fasting changes your spiritual climate and your spiritual environment. And it converts a natural environment into a supernatural environment, an environment that is conducive for miracles. Fasting does that. Fasting will change your spiritual climate and your spiritual environment and bring you into seasons of the miraculous. Once you stay in carnality and wonder, in unbelief and doubt, struggle with sicknesses and diseases, which the fasting kind of prayer can give you miracles beyond the wildest expectation. Fasting will do that for you. The doctors can give up, everybody can give up, but the fasting kind of prayer brings healing on the seats. If the church will begin to fast and begin to pray intensively, there are not going to be too many sick people amidst us. God will supernaturally come on the scene and begin to heal us in our bodies, heal us in our finances, heal us in our relationships, heal us in every dimension of our lives, heal our loved ones, bring in souls, God get sinners converted. Renew and restore our first love. Because of the key of fasting and prayer, I challenge you tonight to pick up that key. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you are frustrated and you are praying and things have still not moved, add fasting to your prayer so that the fasting will amplify your prayer. Let me give you about 20 things that fasting will do for you. I'll run through it very quickly. Fasting wars against our members so that the senses, even though they are keen in operation, are subjected to the spiritual. Fasting changes our feelings to a spiritual environment. Sometimes people talk and all this is, I feel sad, I feel moody, I feel depressed, I feel. When you're a Christian, you don't live by feelings, because feelings is of the flesh. Feelings is for babies, feelings is immaturity. And there are too many people in the church who are governed by their emotions. They are not governed by their spirits. They are angry, they are frustrated, they are tired, they are sick, they are this, they are that, and they are so jittery, so touchy, so edgy. Everything they are upset. And it just tells where you are. Fasting will change your feelings to a spiritual environment. A miserable feeling during fasting comes while the flesh is being subjected and subjugated so that the invisible spiritual power may manifest. So when you are fasting and you begin to feel miserable, it's because the flesh can't take it. Tell the flesh, shut up, I need some spiritual power. Fasting leads us into the spirit. A major fast always gives one greater patience. Fasting brings one into the substance of God. Fasting brings revelation, evidence from God. Fasting is faith's greatest ally. After the fast ends, there is a major spiritual awakening. Fasting is anti-carnal. Fasting takes one into unseen spiritual realm and sometimes into visions. Fasting will undo the natural and bring you into the supernatural. Fasting pleases God. Fasting produces the faith that leads to spiritual power. Fasting moves God to give us victory. The natural man dislikes to fast. The children of the bridegroom are urged to fast. And it is so distasteful that you can seldom find somebody who has fasted for 10 consecutive days. Fasting brings you into great spiritual battle that brings great victory. Satanic forces struggle against the fasting candidate seeking to break the fast. Fasting empowers a Christian to make great spiritual strides. Fasting neutralizes the flesh so that the person can become a powerful conductor of spiritual power. Fasting is disliked by the flesh. The natural man will always resist the fast. And when you fast, God comes in. You must understand that when you begin to fast and pray, you begin to take a spiritual journey. And you take a journey into the dimension of the spirit, and God is a spirit. And when you come into that dimension, it's easy for God to reveal things to you. It's easy for God to speak to you. It's easy for God. You know, when Moses was there for 40 days and 40 nights, and the Bible says he heard the voice of God, he came out with tablets of stone. He experienced the counsel of God. He came down with supernatural power. The glory of God was emanating from his flesh. But he was there with the Lord. That was a special kind of fast. But you can fast in particular dimensions. Do the best you can and see if God will not come on the scene and deliver you from the hands of the enemy and from problems and obstacles that have opposed you for many years. Remember that I said that there are certain obstacles that will move by prayer. Those are the little ones. And the little ones will move, but the major ones will still be there, and there will be unanswered prayers. Because there are some obstacles that are only moved by the fasting kind of prayer. There are some obstacles, the small ones, prayer alone will deal with them. But the serious and the major ones, you need to add fasting. And I'm telling you that fasting will deal with them easily. Cool. There is no obstacle that is too big for fasting. Fasting will make it small. And I'm talking from experience. I've been in times when my back has been against the wall. And the only way out was for me to get into a fast. And I began to fast and pray and deal with certain things. And everything that seemed like a mountain just became a plain. After some days of fasting and prayer, I came into realms of victory. Sometimes the victory doesn't manifest immediately, but just give it a little time and the victory will show up. Things will be sorted out. It doesn't matter who is talking and what law is in existence. Fasting will break all the rules and bring you into dimensions of favor. Look at a man like Daniel. Look at a woman like Esther. It was against the law for Esther to go in unto the king when the king had not invited her. It could cost her her head. But when she got into dimensions of fasting and prayer, and there was also a corporate fast backing her, the Bible makes it clear that she went in which was against the law. But because of the fasting, there were some divine forces that were on the move. And one of the divine forces that begins to go on the move when people begin to fast is favor. Let us somebody say favor. Oh, talk to me, say favor. You know, in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, when the Bible said that, I'll open up my good treasure and I'll pour out rain, one of the dimensions of the rain is favor. And when that comes upon you because you fast, there can be laws, there can be all kinds of things. People can say whatever they want to say, do whatever they want to do, but you still come